So, this is me again, 24. This is a video about the Arrow series. I decided to make this video kind of because I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about the Arrow series. Each season of the Arrow series has kind of piqued my interest and not really done a whole lot in some seasons. Actually, I would say that it's done this. It's kind of just gone up a hill, but it's had some bumps in the way. So it's kind of like done this, but it's always been progressing. Season 4 has kind of done this, unfortunately. So we'll talk about it. So each season has 20 plus episodes. I'm not going to hit on everything. I'm really only going to focus on the protagonist and the antagonist, aka Oliver Queen, every other villain, right? So, first villain is really an organization of villains who have this idea that that the best way to cleanse the city, to help the city, is to destroy a concentration of where all of these gangs and violence and etc., where all of that is focused on. And the ringleader of sorts of that organization is Malcolm. It's Oliver Queen's best friend's father, who is running the show. Malcolm has this ninja. He's being trained by he has been trained by the League of Assassins. He was called the Magician because he can pull a quarter out of some girl's fucking ear. It's just a dumb way, or it's just a dumb introduction to, not even an introduction, but a dumb explanation to the actual nickname that he got. But during the first season, Oliver Queen was a savage. He was he was a bad man. He was like Aaron Rodgers of the Green. No. He was like Russell Westbrook of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He was savage, man. He would stomp on your throat even when you're down and out, man. Like Oliver Queen, he he was a bad man, and it was great to see this brutality, this savageness, and this coldness, kind of like a predator going after his prey. Like he had this list that he was going after, and every single name on that list had to be dealt with in some way, shape, or form. At the beginning of the season, he had his reputation did not precede him, so he had to break some skulls, he had to break some legs, he had to kill people, he had to do all this stuff. Later on during the season, his reputation preceded him. His acts of violence and aggression preceded him. He only had to tell people, I'm coming for you if you don't change. And it was fantastic. It was like seeing Batman be Batman. Instead of like the Man of Steel Batman, where it's like people are like, Batman, who the fuck is Batman? Nobody fucking cares about Batman. But in the Christian Bale movies, especially in the Dark Knight movie, you see these guys like saying, I'm not going out tonight. I'm gonna do crime during the day because Batman is coming out at night. It was like that with the Arrow. They knew Arrow would fuck them up if if they came out at night. And that's what I loved about that first season. There was this savagery, and I did criticize the Batman, the Batman of the Man of Steel for killing people ruthlessly, right? And it's very ironic that I'm not necessarily criticizing the Arrow for doing it, and I think it's simply because Batman, it's so important for him to not kill, and the Arrow is kind of known for, doing what's necessary, but he doesn't struggle with, I don't think, as much Batman does with killing people, right? Especially with an antagonist as the Joker. I don't think it's, I don't think he's been pushed, and I think that he would break if he was antagonized as much as Batman is. So that's why I think that it's more important that Batman doesn't kill over Oliver Queen, right? So at the end of the first season, Malcolm doesn't die. He runs away. Oliver's best friend dies. Oliver sleeps with Laura, who is fine, by the way. And the second season starts with Deathstroke. Now, this series has had this ongoing trend of showing flashbacks to introduced antagonists, Very annoying system. It's so annoying that I'm starting to really get pissed off at it. And I'll tell you what I thought about season 4, right? Now, season 2, I was like, what? They're doing this again? I thought all that was explained in the first season. I thought we were done. He takes care of what he needed to take care of on Lian Yu. I don't remember exactly what was going on, but he did what he needed to do on Lian Yu. Boom, everything's solved. Everything is handled. Everything is fine, and he survives for the next 3 years on Lian Yu by himself, and boom, right? He gets saved. That's what I thought was going to happen. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Now, the second season introduces Deathstroke. It also introduces Black Canary, which, if you aren't familiar with Black Canary, she is Oliver Queen's love interest, so to speak. She is always the girl that he is dating with. She is, I'm trying to think of like a power couple in a, she is essentially his Mary Jane, right? Like Spider-Man has Mary Jane, who, they're destined to be together, whether, Gwen Stacy likes it or not. But she dies, but it doesn't fucking matter. But Black Canary is Oliver Queen's love interest, right? So Sarah Lance is Black Canary, and Laura Lance becomes Black Canary in the third season. So it's kind of interesting. But after the first season, Oliver Queen's best friend dies, and he's like, I have to change my ways. I can't kill people. For Tommy or Toby or whatever the fuck his name is, I have to do it for him, right? I can appreciate that. He does lose a little bit of his savageness, which sucks because he loses just a tad of his fear. Because if you remember what I was saying, he would break people's arms, he would kill people, he would do all of this stuff to really imitate his antagonists. He would imitate his opponents right before he would even step foot in these buildings that he was infiltrating. They were already scared of him. They were like, Green Arrow comes in here, no, he's gonna bust my head through a wall, right? And you don't have that now anymore. You don't have, all right, he may break an arm, he may, pop a wrist, but he's not going to kill me. He's not going to kill me. He's not going to do it. I'm fine. I'm cool. I'm straight. I'm copacetic. And he loses a little bit of his savageness. Fortunately, though, not completely. Speedy was introduced. His sidekick. I didn't like the transition from I forgot his goddamn name, but I didn't like the transformation from one Speedy to another, from the original Speedy, the Speedy that's supposed to be Speedy, to Oliver Queen's little sister, because she's a drug addict and she complains for literally most of the season. Like, it wasn't until really the fourth season that she was useful, but. Because literally for the entire series, she just ruins everything. So, and Deathstroke at the end of the second season is sent to Lian Yu, which is the island that Oliver Queen lives on, but he lived on for like 4 years, and it's the coolest concept ever. Batman doesn't have it. I don't think any other superhero has it, and that is his or her own private prison. I think Superman sends like the really bad villains, like, I'm trying to remember. He sends the really bad villains to the negative zone or something like that. It was in Man of Steel as well as Supergirl, but I haven't slept in I need to go to sleep really soon, so I'm really sorry about that. But Superman, really no superhero has a prison of their own. They usually send them to prison or to a prison, like Belle Rev, for example, instead of just having their own private prison. And it was very cool to see Lian Yu kind of be that prison for supervillains. Unfortunately, Deathstroke in the TV series already knows that he's on Lian Yu, and he's pretty adept with the environment that he's on. Third season, Raish Al Ghul. Um, there's no way Batman can be introduced in this series, in the CW series. No way whatsoever. If you keep up with the Batman, I shouldn't have said Batman v Superman. If you keep up with Batman at all, you'll know three things. First thing, Joker is his main antagonist. Second thing, he is Bruce Wayne. Third thing, the organization that is very adept at stopping him or really challenging him is the League of Assassins. The reason for that is Talia. Talia is his lover, as a sense. They have a son in the comic books named Damien Dark. I need to go to sleep. Damian Wayne. She is probably one of the more persuasive love interests that Batman has, and I don't think it. Nope, definitely was not called. She was definitely not called Talia. In fact, she's a lesbian, by the way, if you can believe it. The daughter of Ra's al Ghul is a lesbian, and Oliver Queen and her have to get married if he is to become the head of dragons, or the head dragon, or whatever it's fucking called, to be the leader of the League of Assassins, right? But it still has a lot of core Batman-esque elements with with him having to do these trials, with him having to be this very dark and malice character, and having to go through this training and really prove himself as a villain, so to speak, or as a semi-villain, right? And I loved that part. I loved the third season. It was fantastic. I loved what happened at the end. I loved the Raish Al Ghul conflict. I loved how Oliver Queen went back to this descent that he had in the first season, because Oliver Queen was pissed off, man. Like he was like, I gotta clean up my father's mistake. This is why I'm back. This is why I'm alive, to clean up his mistakes, right? And he was no nonsense. He tried to clean up some of his act. He tried to reconcile with some people that he'd hurt in the past. But other than that, he was a bamf. He was a badass motherfucker who didn't take shit from anybody, man. And he reverted to that back in season 3, right? Season 2, he was like, I gotta listen to people. They know who I am. But season 3, man, he was a bad man. And I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved seeing him go back to that. And I also loved seeing Raish beat Oliver Queen. Finally a super villain pushes a superhero over the edge, makes him do something that he doesn't want to do, pretty much imposes his own will onto another being, onto a strong-willed being, onto a rival, makes him bend, makes him break. It was great to see that. It was great to see that in motion throughout the third season, which is why I think the third season may have been the best season. On to the fourth. The reason why I'm shaking my head, the reason why I'm looking away, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. The fourth season. Soft. If I could describe it, soft. Weak. Pathetic. Like an old dog trying to do new tricks. Soft is what I would describe the fourth season. Oliver Queen has gone back to the no-killing motivation that that he had acquired in the second season. The problem is that it was worsely executed. He was very soft. He was very approaching. He was a family man. He found out he had a son. He was proposed. He wanted to propose. He had a girlfriend who he absolutely loved. Yada yada yada. Blah blah blah. Etc. 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 He had all this crap that made him soft. Right? He lost it. And pretty much up until like the last two episodes, he was still the same character. He was pretty soft, which is pretty disappointing because Damien Darhk was not soft. For those of you who played football in high school or in college or whatever, you know that the same aggression that the defense or the offense, depending on whatever team you're playing on, meets you with aggression, and you have to meet them back with that same aggression. It's exactly like that in Arrow. In the first season, Malcolm met Oliver with aggression. Oliver returned that aggression. Same with Deathstroke. He returned that aggression. Ra's al Ghul. He returned that aggression in spades. He pretty much he didn't just knock out Ra's al Ghul. He laid his ass out. Damien Darhk showed aggression. He put on aggression. He made Oliver Queen squeamish, made him squirm a little bit. Oliver, unlike in every other season, did not return that aggression. People died. Laurel died. I was done. I was like, my bae, she just died. What am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do now? She turned. I cannot describe to you how important Laurel was for the series, for me, because she turned from this really bitchy woman and kind of spiteful against Oliver. She kept on saying, I wish you died. I wish you died. I wish I had my sister back. And all this shitty stuff. She said that for like 2 straight seasons, to being this girl that had understood who Oliver was, had accepted him, had apologized to him for saying that, because he had worked on her. He had worn her down. He had worn her down now. But he had done all of this effort. He put on all of this effort into redeeming himself. And she recognized that. She forgave him. And they became great friends. Instead of lovers. Different topic for a different video. But it was great to see her transformation and to see her die fucking sucked. And it was because Oliver Queen was too soft. I'm ashamed to say this. I'm ashamed to say this, being a fan of Arrow, being a fan of the TV show, being a fan of Stephen Amell, great actor. I mean, if you notice any of the other actors and actresses in these TV shows, whether it's Supergirl or The Flash, they don't put in as much work physically as this guy does. Like, he has to do like the bar thing where in the first season they just advertised the hell out of this, where and it's on American Ninja Warrior, where he had to jump with the bar, where he had to use like his entire body to throw a bar on another bar and another bar and another bar and another bar. And it was fantastic to see that, because you could see all of the work that this brother put in to making sure that he looked like a goddamn superhero. And to see the 4th season, I'm ashamed to say this, I did not watch the season finale. I couldn't. I had to be interested to watch it. I could not watch those last couple of episodes. I was like, I'll just Wikipedia it. I am so done with watching this episode. I am so done with watching this series. I cannot believe it. I watched The Flash season 2 over this because I felt like we were going through the motions again. I felt like this is the worst season Arrow has to offer, and I felt like it could not really keep on par with The Flash. And I watched The Flash. I watched The 100. I watched all of these different shows except for, guess what? Arrow. Disappointing to say the least. I cannot believe that they wanted to do that crap. If they do that crap ever again, I may have to sue CW for stupidity. I could not believe that it got boring. It got boring to the extent where I knew Oliver Queen was going to succeed. I knew he was going to stop Damien Dark. I knew he was going to save the day. I knew he was going to save the planet. And it was at that point, it's like, the how is the question. How does he do it? And I didn't care about the how. That's it. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more. What do you guys think about the Arrow series? Do you think he got softer in the time that the series had taken place? I mean, 4 years, 4 or 5 years is a long time to have an ongoing series. I do like some of the character development, especially with Oliver Queen. He isn't such an asshole, but he does lose a little bit of that savagery. And I'm fucking happy that Thea doesn't complain and doesn't blame Oliver. And yeah, hang on, before I end the video, a lot of characters, they were just dogging on Oliver for the entire series. It was Thea Queen saying, I know you had it hard over there on Leon U. I know you got tortured. I know you had like a 50% increase in scars, but me, I'm a drug addict. I had it as hard as you. I know you had to fight for survival. I know you had to kill people, yada, yada, yada. But it's hard on me too. Get the fuck out of here. But, I'm sorry, back to the outro. What do you guys think about the Arrow series? Do you think that he lost some of his aggression? Do you think that he lost a little bit of his savagery? Do you think the 4th season was the worst season? And do you think that the 5th season has an obligation to make a comeback, to do it for the fans, to do it for me, right? And you, of course. That's what I want to know. 24. I'm tired. I'm about to do 100 push-ups and sit-ups. I'm not going to sleep yet. Don't you dare go to sleep yet. You got work to do, and so do I. I'll see you next time.